AI Professional Certification. Welcome to the final module of the AI Professional Certification series. This session is different from the earlier lessons because it is not focused on a new skill. Instead, it explains the final steps required to earn your certification. If you have completed the previous modules, you've already covered the core training. You've learned prompting, GPT building, app creation, workflow design, assistant building, AI leadership, and responsible AI use. Now, the goal is to turn that learning into a formal credential. In this final module, I'm going to walk you through the certification process step by step. You'll see exactly what you need to complete, what the passing requirements are, how the assessment works, what you need to submit, and what happens after review. By the end of this presentation, you should know exactly what to do next to earn your certification. Congratulations on making it this far. If you're watching this final module, you've completed the 7 core sessions of the AI Professional Certification series. That means you've already built a strong foundation across the most important areas of practical AI use. You've learned how to prompt effectively, how to build custom GPTs, how to create apps, how to design workflows, how to build assistants, how to think like an AI leader, and how to use AI responsibly. That is a meaningful body of work. Now you are at the final step. The certification process is designed to confirm that you not only watched the training, but also understood it and can apply it in a practical way. This module will show you exactly how that final step works and what you need to do next. This certification represents practical understanding of how to use AI in business. It is not just a participation badge, and it is not based only on watching videos. The goal is to show that you understand the material and can apply it in a real world setting. The training covered several important skill areas: prompting, GPT building, app creation, workflow design, assistant building, AI leadership, and responsible AI use. Together, those topics form a strong foundation for using AI productively and professionally. The final credential awarded through this process is AI Certified Professional. That credential is meant to signal that you completed the program, passed the assessment, and demonstrated practical understanding of the training. In other words, this certification is about both knowledge and application. To earn your certification, there are 5 things you must complete. First, you need to complete sessions 1 through 7 of the AI Professional Certification series. Second, you must complete the certification assessment form. Third, you need to pass the quiz with a score of at least 80%. Fourth, you must submit one short practical application response that shows how you use something from the training. And finally, your submission must go through manual review and approval. These requirements are designed to keep the process simple while still making the certification meaningful. You are not being asked to complete a large project or a complicated capstone, but you are being asked to demonstrate that you learned the material and can apply it in a useful way. That is the standard for certification. The first requirement is simple: complete the full training series before applying for certification. The certification is based on the complete learning path, not just 1 or 2 individual lessons. That means you should complete all 7 core modules before submitting the assessment form. The quiz and the application response are both based on the ideas covered across the entire program. If you skip sections, you may struggle with the assessment or miss important context. The goal here is not to create friction. It is to make sure the certification reflects the full training experience. Each module builds on the previous ones, so completing the full sequence matters. If you've already finished sessions 1 through 7, then you're ready to move to the next step in the certification process. Once you've completed the training, the next step is to open the certification assessment form. This is the one form you will use to complete the certification process. The link to that form will be included in the video description. When you open it, you'll see that it includes your learner information, the quiz, and the short application response. Everything is handled in one place,
to keep the process simple and easy to follow. If possible, complete the form in one sitting. That will make it easier to stay focused and ensure you don't miss any required sections. Before you begin, make sure you finish the training and are ready to answer honestly and clearly. This form is the main step between training completion and certification review. The certification form is divided into three simple sections. Section 1 collects your learner information, including your name, email, company, and role. This helps identify your submission and makes it possible to issue your certificate correctly if you pass. Section 2 is the certification quiz. This checks your understanding of the material covered in the 7 training modules. The quiz uses objective questions so the assessment stays simple and fair. Section 3 is your short practical application response. This is where you briefly explain one way you applied something from the training in your work or learning process. All required sections must be completed for your submission to be reviewed. Incomplete forms will not be approved. The goal is to make the process clear and manageable while still requiring meaningful participation. The next step is passing the certification quiz. This part of the process is designed to verify that you understand the key ideas from the training. It is not meant to be tricky, but it is meant to confirm real learning. The quiz covers the material from sessions 1 through 7. It uses objective questions, so the grading is straightforward and consistent. To continue in the certification process, you must earn a passing score of at least 80%. That means the quiz is one important part of certification, but it is not the only part. It checks knowledge. The application response checks practical use. Together, they create a simple but credible certification standard. If you've paid attention throughout the training and can apply the concepts, the quiz should feel very manageable. The certification quiz covers material from all 7 core sessions in the program. That includes prompting, GPT Builder, App Builder, Workflow Architect, Assistant Builder, AI Leader, and Responsible AI Practitioner. In other words, the quiz is designed to reflect the full scope of the certification series. Some questions may focus on basic concepts, such as what makes a strong prompt or what a workflow is. Others may focus on more strategic ideas, like AI adoption, leadership, or responsible AI use. The goal is not to test obscure details. The goal is to confirm that you understand the main ideas and can recognize how they fit together. If you completed the full series and paid attention to the practical frameworks in each lesson, you should be well prepared for this part of the assessment. To pass the certification assessment, you must score 80% or higher on the quiz. That is the passing standard for the knowledge portion of the certification process. There are a few other important rules to keep in mind. Incomplete forms will not be reviewed. Honest completion is expected, and certification is intended to reflect real understanding of the training, not guesswork or rushed submissions. This means the passing standard is not only about getting enough answers right, it is also about completing the process correctly and thoughtfully. If something is missing, unclear, or incomplete, your submission may not be approved. The good news is that the standard is straightforward. If you complete the training, take the assessment seriously, and provide a clear response, the process should be simple to navigate. In addition to the quiz, you must submit one short written response explaining how you applied something from the training. This is the practical part of the certification process. The goal is not perfection. You do not need to submit a massive project or a polished case study. You just need to describe one practical way you use the training in your work, learning, or business thinking. That might be a prompt you created, a workflow you designed, an assistant you built, or an AI use case you identified for your team. A short, clear answer is enough. The purpose is simply to show that you can connect the training to real world application. This makes the certification stronger because it reflects not just knowledge, but actual use. A strong application response is practical, specific, and clearly connected to the training. It doesn't need to be complicated. It just needs to show that you applied something you learned in a real or realistic way. Good examples include a prompt you created, a GPT you built, an app, workflow, or assistant you designed, or an AI use case you identified for your team. You could also describe a leadership or responsible AI practice you implemented based on the later modules. What matters most is clarity. The reviewer should be able to read your response and understand what you did, why it mattered, and how it connects to the course material. A strong response proves application in simple language. It doesn't need to sound technical, it just needs to sound real. Here are a few examples of what a good application response might look like. One example could be: I use the workflow training to create a repeatable research and follow up process for prospecting. Another could be: I built a simple assistant to help prepare account research before outreach. A third might be: I applied the responsible AI lesson by creating simple review rules for AI generated content on my team. Each of these examples is short, practical, and directly tied to the training. They do not try to impress with complexity. They simply show clear understanding and real world application. That is exactly what the application response is for. You are not being graded on polish or technical depth. You are being asked to show that the training translated into a useful action, tool, process, or decision. Once you submit the form, your certification assessment will be reviewed manually. That review process is designed to keep the certification meaningful without making it overly complex. The review checks several things. First, it confirms that all required sections of the form were completed. Second, it checks whether you earned a passing quiz score. Third, it looks at your application response to make sure it shows real understanding of the training. The standard is straightforward. Clear, complete, and reasonable submissions will be approved. This is not meant to be subjective or overly strict. The review simply makes sure the certification reflects both knowledge and practical understanding. If your submission meets the requirements, you move to the final outcome. If you pass the assessment and your submission is approved, you will receive the credential AI Certified Professional. Your certificate will be sent to you by email. This credential confirms that you completed the AI Professional Certification Series and demonstrated both knowledge of the material and practical understanding of how to apply it. That makes it more meaningful than simply watching a video series. Once you receive the certificate, you can use the credential in professional contexts. That might include adding it to your LinkedIn profile, resume, bio, or other professional materials. It can serve as proof that you completed the training and met the certification standard. This final step turns your learning into something formal and shareable. If you do not pass, that does not mean the process is closed to you. It simply means you are not yet approved for certification. There are a few common reasons this might happen. The most obvious is scoring below 80% on the quiz. Another possibility is submitting an incomplete form. A third is providing an application response that is missing, too unclear, or not clearly connected to the training. If that happens, the best next step is simple: review the training, strengthen your understanding, and complete the process again later. The goal here is not speed, the goal is real understanding. Certification is meant to reflect meaningful learning, so taking the time to review and resubmit is a normal part of the process if needed. The certification assessment form link will be provided in the video description. That is where you go to complete the process and apply for your certification. When you open the form, make sure you answer every required question and complete each section fully. It is best to submit only after you have completed the training and are ready to do the assessment properly. That will make the process smoother and reduce the chance of missing anything important. You may also want to keep a copy of your response for your own records. That can be useful if you want to refer back to your application later. The most important thing is this: the form is the official path to certification. Once you submit it, the review process begins. If you have questions about the certification process, the training, or consulting support, there are a few ways to get help. You can visit generativesalespro.com for more information about the business and training work behind this series. You can also send questions directly by email to mike.wolford@generativesalespro.com. If you want to discuss consulting or support in a more direct way, you can book time through the Calendly link provided. https://calendly.com/Mike Wolford Generative Sales Pro /30 minutes. These contact options are here to make the process easier and give you a direct path if you need help. Whether your question is about certification, training, or applying AI inside your business, these are the official support channels connected to the program. Once you earn the AI Certified Professional Credential, there are several useful ways to apply it professionally. You can add it to your LinkedIn profile, include it on your resume, or mention it in your professional bio. You can also share the certificate as proof that you completed the training and met the assessment standard. For people working in sales, leadership, enablement, consulting, or business transformation, this can help communicate that you've built practical AI capability rather than just general awareness. The credential is also valuable as a personal milestone. It shows that you moved through the full training path and demonstrated both understanding and application. Most importantly, the value of the credential grows when you continue using what you learned in real work. You are now at the final step. You've completed the training, you understand the certification requirements, and you know exactly how to apply. At this point, the next move is simple: complete the certification assessment form and submit your response. This final module is designed to remove confusion and make the process clear. You do not need to guess what comes next. You know the standard, you know the steps, and you know the outcome. If you complete the process successfully, you will earn the AI Certified Professional Credential. That credential reflects completion of the program and practical understanding of the material. So now the focus shifts from learning to action. Complete the assessment, submit your response, and take the final step towards certification.